and welcome to episode 10 of KCC TV, Kendal Cycle Club's magazine show for people in the cycling community. We've got a great episode coming up, haven't we, Ben?
We do, and coming up first, we've got a report about the club's trip to Mallorca, cycling in the sunshine.
And then we've got a piece on the big hill descending course that ran just before the Mallorca trip.
We're going to have the results from last month's competition to win two £50 wheelbase vouchers and a new challenge coming up for this month. And
we've got a piece on bike fit.
Followed by a short piece on how to ride a chain gang.
Then we've got a delicious recipe for post-ride nutrition.
And a whole load of important KCC news. So, Karen, it was a few weeks back. We had the club trip to Mallorca, about 30 club members out on the Spanish island riding in the sunshine. Let's have a look at what went on.
Well, just wanted to take a few minutes on that kind of what effectively is last night for pretty much most people. I know a few people are staying on a few more nights, but just wanted to kind of have the official closing ceremony, if you like. Well, first of all, it's been great to see so many people out here and have the opportunity to get to socialise with people that I personally wouldn't get to socialise with on a normal kind of club activities. So thank you. And it's just been great to see the camaraderie, the banter, the stories that we've all shared here. And for me, one of the most memorable moments has been able to ride with many more people and to have the experience where we've ridden with 12, 15 people on beautiful flat roads, a big peloton, everybody getting a good sense of what it's like to ride as a good group and everybody well disciplined, riding well and having fantastic experiences. And there's been many people on this trip that have inspired me, and probably I guess the one person that's inspired me the most was probably Colin. And so unfortunately Colin's gone home, but he's 62 years old. And what some of the performances he's putting in, it gives me plenty of hope over the next 5 years to emulate him. So, and he beat Rory up the hill, and that was the key thing. So, and riding with all my normal kind of friends has been great, and I've really had a great trip. And thanks to Ben for organising it all. We've kind of learnt a few things along the way, and we've definitely got some great ideas in terms of how to keep building on this and improve next year. And the one thing we'd love you to do is go back and inspire others to sign up for the next trip and come and join us again, and hopefully you'll all come back again.
That looked incredible, Ben. So your tan's starting to fade a little bit.
I know, it's washed off a little bit in the rain that we've been having, but it was a really fantastic trip. And what was great was We had a green group, we had a blue group, we had a red group and a black group, and people going out every day in all the different groups. A really enjoyable trip for everyone involved.
So really the whole spectrum of everybody in KCC.
Yeah, absolutely. And people weren't just cycling every day, you know, there were people going off and sightseeing or doing other activities,
Wonderful.
swimming, lots of other stuff.
Excellent. So is it going to happen again next year?
Absolutely. There will definitely be news coming up in after the summer about next year's trip, and I'm sure lots of people want to get involved.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, our next piece actually links to the Mallorca trip because it was a skills course that was run by MapDeck in conjunction with KCC, all about descending big hills. And one of the people on the Mallorca trip actually said how useful it was descending some of those big hills in Mallorca.
Fabulous, let's take a look.
What goes down's got to go back up somehow.
That big hill descending session was run by MapDeck, and they are now running 2 sessions a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday, I think it is, Ben, isn't it, in the evening, where you can book on and be in a small coached group, and they will go out, not quite to anything quite as big, but locally in the Kendal area, and learn some key skills for climbing and descending. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with the team at MapDeck.
So last month we had Gummers How was the climb of the month.
Yeah, and the descend of the month.
And the descent of the
Yeah.
month, indeed, exactly. And so we have the results from that. We have the people who, everyone, it was just about going out and riding it.
We have the sloth helmet, as normal.
I think that one might have the men in it.
That's got the men in it, yes.
So-
So do you want to pick?
Yeah, let me pull a name out of here and let's see who we've got. And we have Simon Thomas. Congratulations, Simon. £50 wheelbase voucher on its way to you.
Fabulous.
Do you want to pick the women's?
I'll pick the women's.
See who we've
See
got.
who we've got in here. We've got Alice Ria.
Congratulations, Alice. £50 wheelbase voucher on its way to you. And so we are having a new challenge this month. We've been doing Climb of the Month for
Forever,
forever.
think, yes.
And we thought we'd mix it up a little bit. And instead of doing a Climb of the Month, we're going to have a cafe of the month. We all like going to cafes. We all like drinking coffee or tea and eating cake. So this month's challenge is going to involve a cafe of the month, and Toby Cummins is going to introduce it.
Hi, my name's Toby. I run a little brand called Cold Dark North, but I'm also a proud member of Kendal Cycle Club. I've chosen for the inaugural Cafe of the Month the Wolf and Us in Silverdale, just by Jenny Brown's Point. Those of you who've ridden in this direction before will know it's on some lovely lanes out kind of between Silverdale and Arnside, heading out towards Leighton Moss Bird Reserve. I have chosen the Wolf and Us firstly and foremostly because they do great food and great coffee. The location is fantastic for rides. For most of us from Kendal, or if, like me, you live down towards Lancaster, it's just about far enough away from home to merit stopping. They do a fantastic job of looking after cyclists. There's a lovely area, as you can see here, outside, so on sunny days it's a fantastic place to come and just bask in the sunshine while you recover and eat your excellent food. Another reason why I love this cafe is because in the winter, when you don't want to be sat outside in the garden, there's actually a really nice open fire inside, so you can warm your gloves, dry out a little bit potentially, get warm, fill yourself again with hot coffee, and then get on your way again. The only thing that I don't like about this place is that it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Otherwise it's open 10 till 4 most days, certainly across the summer. It does have some slightly odd opening hours in the winter when it's colder, but just check before you come. At Cold Dark North we put together a map last year, and we put together a little promotion called the Great Recovery Ride, where we were trying to promote all the cafes in the northwest that we frequented or had recommended to us. And that map shows, I think we're at 95 cafes now across Yorkshire, Lancashire, Cumbria, all the way up to Penrith, all the way across to Aysgarth and beyond to the Atlantic and down to Preston. All of those cafes are either ones that we love ourselves or that people have very vehemently asked to be included in the map. That does happen, and if you have one that isn't on the map, then please let us know. If we think it's good enough, or if we've been there ourselves and we've verified it, which we like to do because it's an excuse to go to a cafe, then we'll happily include it. We've got some of these badges left, so if you go to a cafe and tag it in your social posts, you'll see from Cold Dark North's post what you need to do. You can win yourself one of these badges, we'll send it to you in the post. When you're out and about, can't recommend enough, come to the Wolf and Us for a coffee, some food, make sure you say hi. They'll look after us here, they always have done. Friends of Kendal CC.
I love this new idea, Ben. Cafe of the month, because it just means that people who can't necessarily climb a big hill can still get involved. So you can take the whole family along, we can have our junior members get involved. So what is our competition this month then?
So the competition is simply to go and visit Wolf and Us, take a photo of you or you and your cycling buddies in the cafe and send us your photo. You can use Spond, you can use Facebook, or you can email tv@kendal.cc to send us your photo, and the photos will be put into the competition, and again we'll have 2 winners next month.
And if you're sending in a group photo, just list the people who are in the photo so that we can put each of them into the helmet next month.
One other thing is that Toby mentioned his map of cafes, and if you'd like to find other cafes as well, we'll have a link in the YouTube description to Toby's map.
Our next article is on bike fit, and particularly getting more women to have a bike fit. And Ben, this is really interesting, isn't it? It's about getting yourself positioned correctly on the bike, having the bike set up perfectly for your body so you don't get any niggly injuries, comfortable, you can ride further, ride faster.
Absolutely. We went along to talk to Christina Wijak from the Body Rehab in Staveley, and she talks about bike fitting generally and why it's important for all of us, and specifically about women and some of the particular things that are relevant for women.
So I think people sometimes think that the bike fit is something that's totally performance orientated, and you would only have one if you were, say, you were racing or you're a professional cyclist or something. It's totally wrong. Everyone who rides a bike should have a good fit on a bike, because performance and comfort sort of go hand in hand really. So a good bike fit's imperative to prevent future injuries, hopefully resolve maybe current injuries, and just to be comfortable and actually enjoy your riding. And with that, hopefully you might get quicker as well, regardless of, everyone likes free speed, don't they? So we find that quite often, we get a lot less females coming for bike fits. Sometimes I ask people about this and they say it's because they don't feel like they're riding at a high enough level, or they don't justify it in some way or another, which is sort of mad really. Anyone needs to be comfortable on a bike and wants the bike to be right for them. We look at you as a person, as a rider, any things like any old injuries, what you want from the bike, your sort of flexibility, your position on a bike, and we'll take them all into account and we fit you to the bike and the bike to you. So it's a sort of a symbiosis of the two. It's not just a case of looking at, say, what your leg length is and then sort of imprinting that straight onto the bike. And we're trying to take into account lots of things and what you want out of the fit. The thing with women, I often find that saddle comfort's a really big factor. But I think people underestimate the amount of you can gain just from saddle position. And also something we do change a lot is the position of the hoods on the bars. So slight positional changes of the bars and the hoods can bring about really big differences in the back and the pedalling efficiency as well. I'm Christina. I've been riding quite a few years. I race various disciplines. On the road, I race for an elite team. I also do time trialling and XC through the summer, and then I race cyclocross through the winter. People feel, particularly women, can feel quite intimidated coming into this sort of environment. To be honest with you, I hope we just have a really nice chat. It's a couple of hours. We talk about bikes, talk about your riding, what you want to achieve. Is there any particular, perhaps any injuries or sort of problems that you're carrying from historically that might potentially impact how you're positioned on the bike, your performance, your comfort, anything like that?
I haven't really got any problems on the bike, but I'm starting to do really long rides now, and the more comfortable I can be, the better. Yeah. I don't want to end up with backache the next day, so it'd be interesting to see if any slight adjustments make a big difference.
So most people don't sort of pedal straight through the knee, just move out slightly. It's not something that, and it's not generally something to be worried about. You don't report any knee pain, any problems like that, and you've got no sort of previous injuries in knees or anything. So, okay, so we're still pretty straight with the elbows, aren't we?
Yeah.
You see, I think you potentially look like you're sitting quite a long way back on the saddle there, or whether it's because of the saddle position itself. So there's a few sort of fairly minor changes we've made. We have put the saddle up quite a lot because we found that there was quite a bend in the knee when we were pedalling. We've brought the saddle forward slightly as well to create a more balanced position across both axles of the bike. And we've also tilted the nose of the saddle down slightly because it did have quite an upward tilt. We've rotated the bars slightly round and down to get a sort of slightly flatter hood position. And then we've changed a few things on the cleats. We also looked at things that we potentially change in the future.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. It was really interesting. I'm sure that all these minor adjustments will give me a more comfortable ride. I'm more aware of my saddle position and where I should be sitting, and my elbows being a bit more relaxed on the bike. So, yeah, I can't wait for my next ride.
So, have you had a bike fit?
I haven't, no.
I mean, what did you think watching that?
Yeah, no, it made me think, yes, the sort of niggles you get when you're on the bike, and especially if you're training for a big event like one of the women's weekends, or if you were doing the Fred or something, I guess. Really important, but even just for everyday cycling and commuting.
Yeah. I know when I had one, I found it was really, really useful actually, just getting the position right. And I think as we saw in the film there, sometimes it's small things that can make quite a big difference.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of which bike.
Well, I actually caught up with Susan after a club ride just recently and asked her how it had been, and she said, 3 or 4 weeks on, she's really noticing differences. She's now changed all her bikes to fit the one that
right, okay.
Because after the bike fit, you get sent all the measurements so you can adjust your other bikes, and she said it's loads better. She's feeling a lot better on the bike.
Yeah, excellent. So next up, when you're on your bike and you're riding on a club ride, you might want to do chain gang.
We had a piece last time on riding in the chain gang, and this is really a follow-on piece from that about how to ride a chain gang in a different way.
And a big thanks to Tim Price for producing the graphics on that. And hopefully you'll be able to get out there and practice that on your next club ride.
Really fun thing to do when you're riding in a group, maybe on a straight piece of road that's quite open, is wide enough. It's a really nice way to ride together.
Yeah, down on the flats at Levens and places like that.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. And then when you've done your ride, really important to fuel up again, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we have a recipe of the month, and this looks absolutely delicious. I haven't made it yet.
Yeah, my sweet tooth.
So Christine Briggs is going to take us through some post-ride brownie.
I don't know about you, Ben, I'm definitely going to be making those.
Absolutely, I'm hungry just looking at it.
Yeah. We're almost done, aren't we? Just a little bit of KCC news to finish off with.
Absolutely. So first of all is to say that the juniors has started up again. So if you're interested in that, you can look on Spond and find all the information there.
And it's at Kirby Kendall on a Tuesday and at Home Scales for the older kids doing mountain biking on a Thursday. There is a waiting list for some of it, so do email. It's goride@kendall.cc if you want to get on the waiting list. Next up, to do all of the junior coaching and also to help with the adults as well, we need coaches. So Ian Childs has put out a message on Facebook and Spond, so do check it out. And if you'd like to get involved, it's a brilliant way to give back to the club, and you get an awful lot out of helping others develop their cycling skills.
Absolutely. Some of you may have seen that the club is planning a trip to the Peak District, a weekend away from the 16th to 18th of June. Details are on Spond and there are places still available. I think it's a mixture of road riding and off-road riding. It's a social, it's an opportunity to get together with other KCC members and just have a really good time in the Peak District, somewhere different.
And obviously we all like riding our bike, but the cafe stop is really the highlight, isn't it? So it's really good to be able to say that the brewery is now back to being the chosen stop at the end of the ride. So don't forget to make sure you head there every Saturday at the end of your ride.
And you know, the last couple of weeks, we've had some beautiful weather. We've been sat outside in the sunshine, eating cake and coffee. It's been really great at the end of that ride. One other thing to do with club riding is that you may have seen on Spond that there's been some more information or republishing of information about KCC group riding etiquette. I I think everyone in the club wants the group riding to be safe and make the ride enjoyable, and so there's some really good reminders there about how we do that in KCC.
And a save the date for you, 16th of July is going to be the KCC annual social. Still waiting for final details, but just mark the date in your diary.
Brilliant, that sounds like it's going to be fun. Well,
we've got one last call out, which we normally have, about helping with KCC TV, and a big thank you to everybody who filled in the volunteers survey and said that they were interested in helping. We're in the process of arranging a group call, a Zoom or something like that, to talk through what's involved and give a bit more detail. But we just wanted to give one last call out that if you didn't respond to that survey and you are interested in getting involved, either in front of the camera, behind the camera, publicity, anything to do with KCC TV, just drop a quick email to tv@kendal.cc and we'll be able to include you in the invite.
A few quick thank yous to finish off. Thank you to the people who contributed photos and video for the Mallorca piece.
And Paul Vousden for the Big Hill Descending.
To Toby Cummins for the Cafe of the Month.
And to Susan and Christina for the Bike Fit.
To Christine Briggs for the recipe.
Then to our sponsors, Wheelbase, who give us the prize money, and MapDeck, who help us with all of the technology to make this happen.
And finally to Tim Price, who has done lots of producing, editing, and is behind the camera right now filming this episode.
This really is the Tim Price episode, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We hope you really enjoyed the episode and you want to get stuck into the competition. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.